So the endowment is asking for a video on the care of children, and I know why. There's a lot of mistakes that people make rearing kids that they don't even realize. You see, when children are developing, they're mapping their cortex for acceptance. That phase, right? But they're little, so it's okay. They're supposed to be. So if you're talking about banking and the kid is 6 years old or 5, and they kind of look at you blank, and then they run away and then they come up to you, and say, "Can I have some juice?" It means that they don't want any part of the information right now because it isn't really what they're supposed to be doing. So that is why there's developmental phases, obviously, of information that they get, that they are supposed to have. So the things that kids really need, because when they are growing and when the brain is developing and growing, they have a sensory stream of auditory, of visual, of tactile, of all kinds of things all day long, plus they are exploring their world. So what they need is, they need to have enough rest. They need to have enough quiet time. They need to have enough sovereignty without being yelled or screamed at if they have made mistakes or they are not managing the way adults manage. They can't yet. They don't know how. So it's a learning curve. So one thing is, I do believe in the approach not to hit children because it is violence, and there are much better ways of dealing with them, like quantum mind management, sorting it out. And one book that I recommend on the Stardust Date blog is the Omnipotent Child book, which saved my parenting. I did not hit my kids when I got that book. It has you give them a timeout for a few minutes to calm down so that you can speak to them without them having a fit, a tantrum, which children go into having fits and tantrums when they are very small toddlers. They all go through this phase, you see? So it's to help catch that and to help them deal with it into all the way into their teens. So it's a very good book. Now, the other thing is, when you are dealing with a kid that's developing, like for example, when they come home from school, they have had stimulation of the mind all day and are very, very tired. Their brains are tired. So they don't really want to do anything other than have a snack, maybe sit. And a lot of them, it isn't a bad thing for them to watch a little video or to sit with their blanket after they had their snack and watch something and just tune out having to do anything. So that's okay. So then you have good content for them to watch, and there's usually good after school shows for them to participate in. Or you can cozy with them, hold them, read them a book, let them have a little snooze, whatever it is that they want. And the worst thing you can do is demand, even when they're older, is they get on their homework right away after snack and all of that, because they've just been in school for 6 hours and they don't want anymore. They need at least half an hour to recover from intense absorption of learning. So they have a snack, they talk to their friends sometimes, they have a break, and they do their homework a little bit later. Telling them to do their homework before they hit primetime television is usually a yes, because sometimes they'll watch their favorite shows and then they're doing their homework, sneaking it till 12 o'clock at night, having trouble to get up. So, what I would say is take the TV away until after dinner, when they've done their homework. And when it's finished, give them back their television. And then you will not have problems as much with them not being able to wake up or not having projects done or having trouble at school. So that is something parents can help and be there to help them with any schoolwork, or arrange for a tutor or something if they are struggling with anything, of course. And with added stress that everybody's had, it's very, very important that if they have any outbreaks, yelling, hitting, or outbursts, that you just say to them, "Are you having too much happening to you in the day that you don't know how to behave and you're having trouble coping?" And if they are, then, just hold them, hug them, tell them it's all right, and that you really love them very much when they can sit and talk to you and tell them what's wrong instead of getting angry, hitting, or yelling. And be that yourself instead of hitting or yelling back at them. Never do that, because what it does is it escalates it. So it is someone who is not coping, who is temporarily demented, like we say in the quantum mind management sheet. And what happens is that they have just a little mental meltdown and breakdown, you know. And the calmer you are when they do this, and if you take their hand and speak to them firmly, you know, let's say they're acting out and you ask them to clean their room before they tend to some homework, and it's just a few things to pick up, and they're, no, I don't want to. You know, you just take them and look in their eyes. Always look them in the eyes when you're speaking to them, slowly and clearly, so they understand. Okay? And they may kind of break away, and you do it again. Talk to them and say, you must listen in order for the household to run correctly. Otherwise, I cannot do meals, drive you places, and dress you, and even bathe you if I'm a stress case and you're not cooperating, and you're not going to be properly cared for if I'm a basket case. So cooperate, please. Or would you like to run the house instead and figure out meals for the whole day, the driving schedule, and all of this? And usually at that point, they'll look at you and say, forget it. And then they'll cooperate. 9 out of 10, it's a good one. I've used it for my kids. And at first they were like, what? No, I don't think so. I don't want to do all that. I'm already tired, having trouble coping and giving you a hard time. And now you're giving me the household to run? I don't think it's going to happen, Mom. What is it you wanted me to do? That's what happens in their divine observer when you make that subtle little threat. It's a good one. So, so there's all kinds of approaches. And just remember, no violence policy means that they will grow up to be non-violent children. They will not have fights at school as likely with hitting or screaming matches. You know, they will be good parents themselves more easily, and they will deal with their friends and coworkers more easily as they grow up and be less prone to criminal activity. So those are some tips for raising children as well as you can. And under stress, it's okay if you are upset, crying, and your kid says, can I have a glass of juice? Just look at them and say, you know what? Mom needs to go cool off for 5 minutes by herself. She doesn't want to yell at you because of something that happened to her that's made her upset. So just sit there for a second. I'll be right back. Go in your room, close the door, do your own mind management, calm down, get your emotions, get a handle on your emotions, and then come out, embrace your child, say, thank you so much for waiting. That really helped Mommy a lot. Wow, are you ever a good kid? Let's go get you that glass of juice. You know, or whatever it is, right? When you have little emergencies. So clear communication is good. Le Petit Soleil is also given to your child as a teaching in the Starlight's article section of Starlight State Blog to help them cope and deal with all of the challenges that they think they may have or are a little uneasy about. And there's some things they want to have in their day that they create too, whatever it is, you know, so give that to them. And they participate. You do your Le Petit Cafe too, and your quantum mind tech tools I've given you in all articles and in secret areas of the Starlight State Blog and on the YouTube Blue Matrix Energetics info playlist. That is all there for you to help you be a good parent. And if you've ever had a day where you've snapped this or that or said things, unkind things to your child, apologize, because they're little people that deserve to have respect. They will not have self-respect if you do not respect them. So say, I'm so sorry for what I said to you. I don't know what got into me. It was very rude. I want me to say this. Please forgive me. And, you know, that's about it, right? Try not to reward them with things when you've done that, because then it's a little game, you know. It should be enough just to apologize. And one other thing I was going to tell you. This last thing on the tip of my tongue that I wanted to tell you about all of this. When they have, oh yes, well, we'll do this first. Bedtime. Make sure your children get enough sleep. So if they have trouble sleeping, soft music played. Instead of leaving them with their TV, if you shut it off and put a soft music CD on and lower lights and stroke their hair or give them a book to read or something, 9 out of 10 people, if they are tired and they read, they'll pass out. They will pass out. They will fall asleep from reading. So always give them something to read if they're not quite falling asleep. And also caffeinated beverages. Try not to give it to them 2 to 3 hours before bed if possible. So that should help you with any problems that you have. And when they get into their teens, the other thing is too that the brain is growing and changing very, very rapidly. And there has been studies that have shown that children have shown erratic, abnormal behavior that was not there before. almost as bad as tantrums when they were toddlers, but it is just loss of emotions and emotional control. When they have their teens onsetting because their brains are growing sometimes too fast for them to be able to keep up with it. So tell them that, and then give them mind management to deal with, and just put up with it if they have outbursts and say things they don't usually say or mean. Try not to take it personally and cry and say, I don't know what I did wrong. You did nothing wrong. It's just your teenager developing. And there's books on it that can help you if you ask there's sometimes they have parent-child resource places you can go to. And also libraries and online, of course, and bookstores. Look for childhood development, the child into the teenager. It helps very, very much if you have trouble understanding your kid. And also removal of privileges. Be careful with this, because if you are too stringent and you remove too many privileges, sometimes kids end up shoplifting and doing all kinds of stuff to get stuff that parents denied them for too long or forgot to reinstate privileges. Don't do this too much. I would just talk it out. And if it's really, really bad, sure, you can say, well, you can't go see your friend this weekend. But don't make a habit out of it. If they leave something in the front hall that, oh, you can't see your friend because it's a routine now, they'll hate you. And it happens a lot, actually. And it's really poor parenting, really poor parenting. So, it's like you're getting your nails done, right? It means that much to you, and you have a fight, and your ex or your husband says, well, I'm not giving you the credit card for your nails every time that you leave the laundry at the laundromat or forget. Like, it's condescending and it doesn't help. And hopefully no one's having those relationships these days anyway. So in terms of parties, and when they start partying, drive them. Offer to pick them up and drive them back home no matter what time it is, so that your kid isn't out all night. And just explain about drugs and alcohol and the perils of all of it. Try not to freak if they go. Are they going to be taking drugs? Are they going to be drinking or whatever? Buy them a case of de-alcoholized beer. Really, they could take it and have a beverage, and you can't really tell the difference anyway. So you don't have to worry about them. So there's a lot of little precautions that you can take. There's still one thing I'm trying to remember that I wanted to tell you. I don't want to do a second video about one item. It's stupid. Well, they are learning how the world works at a young age. It takes a while. So be patient with them. Never be condescending as if they're stupid and they're learning something for the first time that you've been doing for your whole life. Remember, you were young too and did not know how to do certain things, whether it's banking or what to do if you get a parking ticket or whatever it is. Kids go through this learning curve. So never act as if they're stupid because maybe someone did that to you when you were growing up. And that's happened to us as well. Be patient. Oh, I know what it is. I gave you good stuff, though, while I was trying to remember what it was, didn't I? So thanks for bearing with me. So it's glasses. There is information in my curated pages tells you that many people who wear glasses and started in childhood had big episodes or fights with parents where there was yelling, screaming, or hitting or belittling, and shortly after the kids started wearing glasses, or it was going on for a prolonged period, usually. And so if you care about your child's eyesight, don't make them feel so belittled and stupid and hit them and treat them as if they don't know that they're stupid and they don't see anything right or do anything right, and you're punishing for it. So what they will do in order to see you as this little god almost over them that's raising them, that they have to love or they have nowhere to live, they think. They don't know about foster care and all this, you see? They think you're it. And a lot of times if there's abuse, they're an observer. And one day research may show this. You'll see. This is a holistic theory that you'll see. There's a lot of truth to some of it. When I worked with people who have been abused and they see skewed, it's almost like you have to see skewed in order to live with mom and dad if they're abusers. Otherwise you get the hell out of there, but you can't because you're too young and you have no money, you see. And until you learn about different social services things when you go to school, some of them feel that they don't have a way out, so they down their eyesight. So don't be a tyrant, manage your mind, be a good parent, and your kids will likely have good eyesight. It's not just necessarily a genetic condition. There are sometimes at birth problems that happen, and that's happened, and it's rare. But for the ultimate health and well-being of for your child, don't yell, they won't get ear infections as much. Try not to make them feel emotionally guilty and overstimulate them to do chores and scream when they first get home from school because they left something out and you had a guest over and they just came home and they need to just sit for half an hour. So their head's almost hurting. You're at them. That's flus and colds they're more predisposed to from that kind of behavior. Or fighting with you and your husband and then just looking at them like you have hatred that they're in the room hearing. Cancer can form from suppression of emotions and hatred directed towards the child as if you wish they were never born. Cancer, leukemia, all kinds of stuff. So there are connections that holistic people have identified working with clients that have to do with parenting. So if you're planning for a baby, work on yourself first. And they especially need support during times of extraterrestrial engagement of humanity that has had its own mistakes and blunders and sometimes caused a bit of stress. So be kind to yourselves and your child, and you may refer this video to any other parents and enjoy the information.